Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming by. Today, we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering. Nope, Mage the Ascension. Sorry, we're not talking about Magic the Gathering. That's a card game. Mage the Ascension. And if you like mistakes like that, stupid little mistakes like that, go ahead and subscribe. That's awesome. We're just going to be speaking about the Magic. The Magic is the most important part. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and share my screen. Boom, there we go. And of course, there's the Trove, obviously, because I have the physical copy right here. Yay, I'm not stealing. It's all good. But I don't have a PDF copy so the viewers can all follow along. So that's what we're going to do. Now, what I'm going to talk about is why Mage the Ascension has the greatest system of Magic in any role-playing game I've come across. It is simple to the point of being sometimes too difficult for a lot of people, because it takes a lot of imagination to do it well. Anyone can do it. Any player can do this. But to do it efficiently, effectively, and well, it takes a lot of study, takes a lot of intuition, and sometimes just eureka moments. And those are the greatest ones. Those are the greatest games that I've ever played, when a player has had a eureka moment and done something so off the wall awesome that it was just crazy. I know you would join if you didn't have work. I'm talking about, like, in chat. You have a question, throw it out there. I will see it as soon as I do, and I will answer it as soon as I can. So what we're going to talk about is the system of Magic. Of course, this chart starts at chapter 7 because the way the book is set up, that's the way it is. Now, in Mage, Magic is altering the fabric of reality. You're not there's no spell points, there's no mana, there's no memorization, there's none of that. There are 9 different the player characters have reality broken down into 9 different aspects. Spheres of influence. Strangely enough, they're called spheres. So, there you go. And they are these right here. Correspondence, entropy, forces, life, matter, mind, prime, spirit, and time. Any amount of knowledge in these spheres gives you some ability to control the aspect of that reality. And the more dots you have, this is a dot system from 1 to 5, the more control over that part of reality you can assert. Sounds easy so far, right? Well, that's because it is. And thank you very much, Crafty, for just donating $25. Really appreciate it. Especially since I'm here all alone and I feel like that it's not going to be as good, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, so it gives a little infographic here. We are going to talk about the structure of reality. We have to have a background on what we're talking about. Now, in Mage, all of reality comes from an energy source called quintessence. Now, you want to call it mana, you can't call it spirit, but if you want to call it mana, I suppose that's not too far off. But really, if you want to be scientific about it, it is the building block of all reality. It is what subatomic particles are made of. And by that definition, quintessence makes up everything. If something does not have quintessence, it does not exist. That's it. Anything that exists has quintessence in it. Anything alive has a flow of quintessence constantly moving through it, whether a large flow, small flow, doesn't matter. If it's alive, if it's a changing creature, then it has a quintessence flow. And we're going to talk more about that when we talk about the life sphere and the matter sphere. But the pattern for everything that exists, the physical structure is the definition of the pattern of something. Its magical pattern dictates its physical properties. We'll get to that, don't worry. There are 2 types of magic: coincidental magic and vulgar magic. Now, the way that this game makes players use their imagination, use trickery, is to create two different kinds of magical effects, and it all depends on how the player words the magic. Coincidental magic or static magic is magic that conforms to reality. It's possible. It is you're altering reality, but in a way that still could possibly happen. For example, you can use magic to create a flat tire in a car that's driving by. Completely within the realm of reality. Reality will not fight back. Anyone seeing that event will go, oh man, bad luck, brother. Or you should have dodged that pothole. Or maybe there was a nail in the road. Whatever. Doesn't matter. People hear about that all the time. It happens all the time. You just made it happen right then. Kind of nudge reality. That's coincidental, static. You're just nudging reality, just shifting it. Then there's vulgar. Vulgar is your D&D mage, where you throw a lightning bolt from your hand, or a fireball, or you have laser eyes and you disintegrate someone. This is magic that is used in a way to alter reality that cannot happen with the current consensus of what is possible. It is not possible for someone to throw a lightning bolt from their hands and hit one person in a crowd of 50 and burn that person to a cinder. No one's going to believe that. Everyone who sees that is going to freak out, and reality is going to punch you back. And reality punches with something called paradox. And we are going to get to that. But first, we're going to describe the magical flowchart. In this book, it gives you a flowchart, which I think is pretty cool. First, you describe the effect of the magic you want to do. For example, the tire that I spoke of earlier. I want to create a flat tire. When a mage decides to use magic, the player must describe the magical effect and decide whether it is coincidental or vulgar. If the effect is coincidental, the player must also explain the nature of the coincidence. Well, a flat tire doesn't require a whole lot of explanation because it happens all the time. So you're sitting at an intersection and there's a car driving by. You use your magic. We'll talk about what kind of magic you can use later. Wizard Jim says, not possibly say, I curse you, agent of the fire. What? Mage is a good magic system. Invisible Sun is better. Fight me. We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to the fighting part. But it's how the player describes the effect that decides whether it is coincidental, static magic, or vulgar, dynamic magic. And how many dice you're going to roll and how much reality you're going to bend. Now, let's say they wanted to instantly overinflate the tire to the point where it explodes. Okay. How are you going to explain that? Well, I create an atmosphere inside the tube of the tire beyond its capacity to contain. Well, from an outside observer, what you might see is the tire immediately start to expand dramatically and then blow out. Now, if there are people around seeing this thing, that may or may not be vulgar. It depends on what the people saw, what they understood. But it's easier to say, I want to create a rip in the tire. I mean, people get flat tires that blow out all the time and they never find the cause. There was a piece of steel in the road, and when the tire blew, it ejected the steel from the radial. That happens all the time. So you want to make your magic as coincidental as possible. Not only do you get to roll more dice for the most part, but reality tends to flow around that event and it tends to not push back. So do we have the correct spheres to do this? Well, let's say for the arguably vulgar effect of creating more air inside the tube, inside the actual tire until it blew out, you would need matter and prime. Matter to create more air, more atmosphere, and to create anything out of nothing, you need prime. So you need matter and prime. For our coincidental effect, just creating a tear, you probably would only need matter 2. Probably just matter. You're just changing the structure of an already existing object slightly just to, make it fail. So we'll go with that one. We'll go with that one. Determine the difficulty. And this is the reason we're going to go with that one, because the way that you determine the target number for a spell is its highest sphere rating plus 3. That's your target number. Remember, in Mage, you're rolling d10s. I like digital documents because you can embed hyperlinks. That's true. Flim says, remember flowcharts. Good thing White Wolf stopped using them and just spew paragraphs of nonsense to hit the word to page count. I think's too easy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about Old World Darkness and not anything else. We're not going revised. We're not going 2nd edition, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 18th, whatever they're up to now. We're sticking to here because this was the easiest to convey the idea for. Now, in the creating atmosphere inside the tire to exceed its capacity and blow out the tire, you need matter 3 to create matter and prime. Well, you only need prime 1, but you need matter 3. So that's the highest sphere rating. The difficulty would be 6. Every 6 you roll would be a success. But if we're just creating a defect in the tire to make the tire blow, that would only require matter 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So now your target number is only a 5. You're going to get a lot more successes. It doesn't seem there's only one target number. It's a 6 and a 5. Well, you went from a 40% success rate to a 50% success rate. Actually, if your target number is 5, 5s are successes. So that's actually a 60% success rate right there. Big difference. Big difference. Now, an automatic success rule. This game tries to simplify as much as possible. So if you have, let's say your target number is 6 and you're rolling 6 dice, you can elect to have an automatic success. 1 success. 1. Now, a lot of magical effects require more than 1 success because the more successes you have, the longer distance you can project your magic, the more damage it does, the longer it lasts. But sometimes you only need 1. And why risk it? Because rolling a 1 takes away a success. And we're going to get to the ramifications of that in a minute. Now we have to decide whether it's a vulgar magical effect or coincidental magical effect. Now, this is the reason I wore this shirt today, the player agency shirt. Today I'm wearing it ironically because in Mage, the storyteller and the player, when they're creating magical effects, especially ones that the player just imagines on the fly, there's a back and forth. It's the player's job to convince the storyteller that it's vulgar or coincidental. So at this point, I, as the player, am trying to convince the storyteller probably to make my magic coincidental because it has less blowback, less possibility of blowback. Is it blurry for you guys? This is I really can't make it any more clear. I can make it bigger. Hang on. Nope, can't make it that much bigger. There. Is that better? Oh, that's better. Go a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. Now, let's say we will use the create a flaw in the tire, a structural integrity flaw to make it pop. We're going to say that's a coincidental effect. Now, the player rolls to determine whether the effect is successful. And it is coincidental. So you roll the number of dice you have. Blame the font. It's squiggly. You're right. Yeah. Can't read all the text, just some of it. I'm sorry. You roll your arete. Your arete is the ability you have to finesse reality. So that's your dice pool. Goes from 1 to 10. Starts in character creation, and of course, as you gain experience, you can increase it so you have more and more control over coincidental magical effects. So I will roll my arete for the target number of 5. Let's say I have 3 arete. All right. I go to the results. I get, say, it's a scan. You're right. It is a scan. Let's say I get 2 successes. 2 successes. No ones, just 1 failure and 2 successes. Then we move on. I got coincidental paradox. Depending on the result of the magical effect roll, the mage may gain paradox points by using magic. If the magic is coincidental, the mage may only gain paradox points if the roll is botched. And a botch in this game is when you have more ones than you do successes. And I have to, nope, other way. Yep. There we go. You have more ones than you have successes. Every one takes away success. If there's a 1 left over and no successes, that is a botch. And a botch is bad. A botch is, in this game, you can botch anything. You can botch a firearms roll, you could botch magic, you could botch walking upstairs if your game master or storyteller makes you roll for something like that. But a botch is a catastrophic failure. And when you're altering reality, a catastrophic failure is very, very bad. You get what's called paradox. And we're not going to go over counter magic and resistance because that's beyond the scope of this discussion. But paradox is the punishment for improperly manipulating reality. All right, you get some blowback. Reality pushes back. You get a paradox spirit on you. You get paradox inside your pattern. Causes a deleterious effect. We're again outside the scope of thing. We're just talking about the magic, the basic magic usage today. But let's say it was vulgar. Let's say I used the create the atmosphere inside the tire and pop, and I popped the tire that way. And the storyteller decided that is vulgar. So instead of rolling my arete, I have to roll the sphere, the maximum of the sphere that I'm using in my magic. I'm using prime 1 and matter 3. So I get to roll 3 dice because matter is my highest level sphere. So I roll 3 dice. But my target number is 6, not 5. Let's say I get 1 success. 1 success. It's probably not enough to actually pop the tire, because later on we're going to see the number of successes determines the distance you can throw your magic. 1 is usually touch, so it wouldn't work. So let's just say I got 2, so I could, pop that tire over there. Let's say I got 2 successes still. That's fine, but it was vulgar. But let's say no one saw it. The person driving obviously did not see the tire expand like a little Michelin Man cartoon and then blow up. And there was no one around the intersection to actually see it happen. It's vulgar magic, but with no witnesses. No living being witnessed this obvious magical effect. Well, then the magic is vulgar and there's no sleeper witnesses. The mage automatically gains a minimum of 1 paradox point if the effect is successful. That means because I manipulated reality in a way that was implausible, not implausible, but not possible to happen. I explained it in a way that was not possible. It was vulgar. I automatically gain a paradox. If I had botched the roll, oh my God. If I had botched the roll, I gained paradox points equal to I believe the dice I rolled. Paradox for each dice rolled. Yes. So I would gain 3. I would gain 3 and then I would get an extra 1 for everyone. It's crazy. But vulgar with witnesses is worse. There are people around who saw that tire expand and pop like a cartoon Michelin Man type thing. They're freaking out. Reality responds to these ripples of normal folk screaming out that that's not possible. You get more paradox. Gains paradox points. To gains a minimum of paradox points if the effect is successful, and then you get even more paradox points depending on if you botch what you rolled, all that stuff. Again, paradox is not technically within the bounds of what we're talking about, but it's part of the flow chart, so I had to say it. So we're going to get now to the spheres. Don't care about counter magic. Don't care about any of that junk. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. The spheres. Here we go. Now, correspondence. Correspondence is the magic of distance. Everything in reality is relative to something else. There's a certain distance. It's moving in a certain velocity, vectored, not vectored, whatever. Everything is a certain amount of space apart. And the correspondence sphere deals with this aspect of reality. From a one dot giving you immediate spatial perceptions, that means that you have for lack of a better word, a radar sense, but it's not really. You have an absolute sense of the distance between you and everything around you and everything around you and each other. You have a perfect view, a perfect understanding of the relative position of everything around you. Now, this around you depends upon the number of successes. If you get one success, it's just your immediate area. You get two successes, it gets higher. You get up to 5, 10, 20 successes, whatever. Then you get, an absolute map of an entire city or country, if your brain could handle that. Until you get to the point highest, or level 5, where you can mutate localities and co-location. This is understanding that distance is a lie. It's a lie that people tell themselves to exist in physical reality. I'll have to explain that. It goes through levels 1 through 5, and as you go up in level, you gain a greater understanding of what it is that creates this view of reality, the distance between objects. And as you gain a greater understanding, you understand that there is something called the correspondence point. This is the point that all reality exists. All reality exists stacked on a single point, a single spot in space-time. Our view of it as being things that are separated, they don't exist in the same spot, is necessary for us to move around and interact with reality. But your understanding of that, all places are one in the eye of Buddha. Okay. All right. Go with that. As you get higher and higher in correspondence, you start to be able to move yourself from one spot to another. That'd be level 3. 3 dots, co-location. You can move yourself from one end of the world to the other end of the world because you understand that these 2 points exist simultaneously in the same spot. You're not really moving. You're just moving you and other people's perception of where you are to somewhere else, until you get to 5 dots, where you can actually merge places together, where you can actually make 2 or more different places exist simultaneously in the same space and time, and have equal sway in reality in those moments, meaning they both exist in the same space, they're both real, and you can interact with both of them because they're all in the same spot. It gets weird. Stuff like that is almost always vulgar because people freak the hell out. Almost always vulgar. Now we're going to move on from correspondence. We're going to go to the next one, which is, I believe, going to be, entropy. Entropy is the sphere of, I don't want to say destruction because it's not true. There's a cycle for everything, and in Mage the Ascension, in Old World of Darkness, really, there was a cycle: the Weaver, the Worm, and the Wild. Things come from quintessence. That's the wild, and then they have a pattern. They gain a pattern. They gain reality. That's the pattern, and then they age, change, decay, disintegrate, however you want to say it, and turn back into the wild. Now, the aspect of the age and disintegration is the worm aspect. That's entropy. It's necessary for renewal, for change. Entropy is necessary to change what is. Is it going to be a good change? Is it going to be a bad change? Doesn't matter. But things always have to change. Now, Again, 1 dot to 5. Your levels of understanding of entropy will go up and down, will go up depending on. The wizard says again, fate, breakdown, and movement from high energy states to low energy states. Yes. Yes. Entropy is natural to the world. It is necessary for all things to exist and continue to move forward. 1 dot, perceive entropy. You can see the effects of entropy all around you. The effects of change, the effects of decay, the effects of aging, the effects of deterioration. With 2, you can sort of control this. It gives you the ability to control randomness, because change is dynamism. It is the state before or after something is known. So if you roll a die, let's say it's a 6-sided die, you're rolling craps and you want to roll a 7. You can use entropy 2 to create that effect, to guide the randomness, to make that 7 a reality. And it goes up from there. Whereas we get level 4 and level 5, you get to start destroying things and destroying people. You can destroy their bodies, you can destroy their minds, you can destroy their spirits, their avatars, the thing that makes them kind of like their souls, if you want to get right down to it. But you get more control over how reality changes, and you can focus that, accelerate, decelerate that, depending on how much you understand of the sphere of entropy. And don't worry, we're going to get to examples of all these later on. I'm just trying to get through the basic spheres. Forces. This one's what usually people do. Mattcraft, off to work. Okay, I'm sorry. Attempt to listen. If not, I'll catch up after stream. Okay, great. This is the one people usually get because it's the easiest for most people to wrap their head around. Forces is the sphere dealing with the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Everything, including gravity. All energy in the universe that exists falls into the sphere of forces. Now, from level 1 to perceive forces, you can see radio signals. You can see electricity flowing. You can see neurons fire in someone's mind. Maybe you can see satellite signal, the energy level of a battery, until you get to level 3, which is you can actually create energy from nothing. Remember, creating from nothing, it's always conjunctional magic. You always need prime 1. So you have to have 2 spheres. But you can create energy from nothing. And level 4 is you can create large amounts of energy, high-powered energy, radiation, neutron stuff. I mean, this is just dangerous stuff. And then you come to level 5 where you can create any energy that is in the universe at all. Lost Ogre says, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to see it, did it really exist? Yes. Yes, it did. Thank you for your question. Now we're moving on. Forces actually has its own damage chart. It is forces and entropy, I believe, have the capacity to do the most damage, depending on the number of successes you get and the rank of your forces that you have. If you have rank 1 force, you can't do any damage because you cannot manipulate or control any kind of energy. You can just see it. But starting at level 2, where you can manipulate but not create, you can actually cause damage. You can cause a backflow of energy. You can cause a computer to short circuit by changing the flow of electricity. You can cause a car to start by initiating the flow from the battery to the alternator. You can cause a car to stop by stopping the flow of energy from the battery, causing the spark plugs to not be able to fire and the car to stall out. You can do all that. As long as the energy exists, you can move it around. That's with 2. And then, of course, with 3, you can create. So you get, you can harness more energy, create it from nothing. You get more damage, and it's so on and so forth. Then we get to life. Life is the sphere that encompasses all living things, from bacteria, viruses, to human beings, whales, whatever. Doesn't matter. Again, if there's a theme, level 1 is always perception based. You have to start by being able to see the aspect of reality you want to control. So level 1 dot in forces gives you the ability to sense life. That's all kinds of life. Anything that has a flow of quintessence through it is considered alive. Viruses are alive. Bacteria are alive. People are alive. Dogs are alive. Birds are alive. Fungus is alive. You can sense all of that. Depending on your number of successes, just like correspondence is the radius of that sense, but still, that sense to sense all life. You can also sense the quality of that life. You can sense, is this person sick? Is this animal sick? Are they injured? What is the illness that they have? What is the extent of their injury? You can see genetic problems with them. You're basically a Star Trek tricorder at this point. You just have to make a way to make it coincidental that you have this knowledge that maybe you're not supposed to have. And it goes up to altering simple patterns, that is, invertebrates. Worms, bacteria, viruses, mold, mushrooms, whatever. You can alter their pattern in simple ways. And then with 3, you can alter yourself or create simple patterns. Now you can create simple life forms. Bugs, bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus, like I talked about before, but you've gained enough experience with life magic to affect your own pattern, your own living pattern. You can make yourself stronger. You can make yourself faster. You can alter you. You can heal yourself of injury, of disease, of sickness. You can do that now to yourself. You have enough knowledge of life to do this to yourself. Now, when you get to level 4, you can do this to others. You can alter them, make them stronger, weaker, make them sick, or heal them. And then with level 5, you can create your own life. And unlike level 3, where it's just simple patterns, worms, invertebrates, now you can create dogs, cats, even clones of people. And of course, there is the damage. Where's the damage? There it is. Yeah, all of it is ×3 for life. It's just ×3. It starts off strong, stays that. On forces, it started at 0, 2, 3, 4, like that. This one just starts at 3. So if you want to alter someone's life pattern in a damaging way, the number of successes and your level in magical knowledge is going to determine that kind of damage. So get ready for that. That's going to be weird. Next, we have matter. Oop, I passed it. Next, we have matter. This is just like life. It is the study of patterns, but patterns that are static, that do not have a quintessence flow. Patterns that have quintessence but do not have a flow are inanimate objects. By definition, are inanimate objects. These objects are affected by the matter sphere. Now, of course, again, level 1 is perceiving matter. Well, I can see it right there. Yeah, but no. You know its composition. You can tell the purity of an object. You can tell the structural integrity of an object just by sensing it. You can tell if it's coated in something, or what's underneath, or what it's completely made of. Is it an amalgam of 2 different things? And what are those things? You have the ability to always know exactly what you're looking at. You know exactly what this table is made of. I know exactly what this mic is made of and how much of it is made of it. And then it goes to creating unified patterns. These are small things. Nothing big. Alter matter pattern dissociation. Now, this one is matter dissociation. That's the one that we were talking about for in our little example. In fact, we'll go to matter 3 right now. The third rank of matter mage can finally overpower the rigid patterns of matter by selectively altering different threads within a pattern. He's now able to change the shape of any inanimate object. The other major effect of this rank is called pattern dissociation. Through pattern dissociation, a mage can alter the pattern of an inanimate object, preventing it from interacting with some other form of reality the mage selects. This object will then become immaterial and non-existent in regard to any other reality pattern from which it was disassociated. So if you disassociate the atmosphere from the tube inside the tire, or disassociate the tube from the atmosphere inside the tire, all of the air will just instantly leave the tube and you'll get an instant flat tire. You could do that. Personally, I would go with matter 2, but hey, that's just me. Mind. This one is a good one for people who love coincidental effects, because mind is the easiest thing to explain. It's a trick. I tricked you. It's basically it. Or I'm smart. You can do that. Marhawkman says he likes the analogy of being able to see the inside of a rock to know what it's like on the inside. Yes, you know exactly what using matter 1, you will know exactly what the rock is made of, all the way through to its core. How pure is it? What impurities does it have? What are those impurities? What percentage of impurities are there? You'll know it all. If you look at medicine, you will be able to know its exact molecular structure. You can look at anything, you know its exact molecular structure. So yeah, but with the mind, level 1 is yourself. You can improve your own mind, hack your own brain. It's got to start somewhere. You can do that. You can also sense, to a very limited degree, other minds around you, but mainly this first dot is focused on yourself. There are some amazing abilities that you can get by tapping into mind 1. Amazing ones. And we're going to get to the rotes after we're done. But it goes from level 1, level 2, level 3, where level 2, you start sensing emotions from other people. You become like an empath. You can plant maybe subtle suggestions in people, but you can't really read their minds. You don't know what they're thinking till you get to level 3. Level 3, you can actually have telepathic communication. You can read surface thoughts of other people and you can send them yourself. Level 4, you can actually control other people. And level 5, you can create an astral form, and it's called untether because you can have your mind completely leave your body and move anywhere in the world. See and hear whatever you want from the you call it astral plane or mental plane of the mind, whatever. And the next one is prime. Prime is the sphere encompassing the quintessence, which is the building block of everything. The energy behind everything is quintessence, and that is controlled with the sphere of prime. With 1 dot, you need at least 1 dot. With 1 dot, you can store free quintessence that is not yet bound up into any pattern. It's out there. You can store it in your body. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, using quintessence when you are rolling for a magical effect brings the target number down by 1. And as we know, target number going down by 1 is a big deal in this game. It can be the difference between success and failure. Prime is meta magic. I can agree with that a little bit. Yeah. Earlier when I said you need at least 1 prime to create something from nothing, that's not true. It's actually 2. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. To fuel a pattern, you need 2 prime. Prime of 2 to channel quintessence to create something from nothing. Like forces 3, you want to create atmosphere inside the tire. You need prime 2 to be able to force quintessence into that pattern you are erecting. And that pattern is more atmosphere. Those 2 spheres together, you can create air from nothing. Or lightning, or fire or a box or a pencil, whatever you are creating, if it's from nothing, you need prime 2 to fuel that pattern. If you are creating a bug, you need prime 2 to create the quintessence flow through that pattern. So the bug is not only existent, but also alive. I mean, if you just wanted the dead body of a bug, I guess you don't need to make a quintessence flow. That's fine, I guess. But, why bother? And then, of course, there's channel quintessence, expel base energy, and alter flow. Now, prime is very, very dangerous. Channel quintessence, the mage understands how to draw reservoirs of surplus free quintessence out of patterns which they are stored. The mage becomes a conduit to this quintessence, storing it in his own being or channeling it into other patterns, such as pocket realm, whatever. You need 3 dots in prime to change the flow of quintessence, change from one thing to another, from one recipient to another recipient, from the earth to a pocket dimension that you want to create using this flow of magic. Again, outside the scope of what we're talking about, but level 4, adepts who are also knowledgeable enough in matter forces can use conjunctional flux to alter the amount of quintessence, blah, blah, blah. They're able to pull quintessence out of patterns of matter and energy, thereby affecting the pattern's interaction to reality. Now, remember, I told you that for a pattern to exist, it has to have quintessence. For something to be alive, it has to have a quintessence flow. If you pull the quintessence out of a pattern, that pattern disintegrates into nothing. It lost its base in reality, which is quintessence. Jebediah, hello there. Come to the party late. Which edition of Mage? Essentially, we're using first edition, because that one to me has the best examples of magic. And counterspell prime is almost OP. Yes, I mean, countering magic is easier than casting magic because reality doesn't want to be altered. So counter magic is going to be generally easier than altering reality. Keeping it the same is easier than changing it. Makes sense. So if you rip all of the quintessence out of something, or you stop the flow of quintessence through a living thing, that living thing will die. If you pull the quintessence out of a pattern, like say a chair, the chair will disintegrate into nothing. Because without quintessence, it can't exist. Quintessence is the building block of reality. If you take that away, things stop being real. Oh, this issue you have. That's good. So prime, while necessary for matter, forces, and life to get up to at least 2 to do some cool stuff, getting it up to 4 or 5, you can do some real nasty things. You can cause things to just not exist anymore. It's crazy. Spirit. Now, spirit is the sphere that governs the part of reality that is the metaphysical. All of this is metaphysical. Theories, models, concept used by the various traditions understand the spirit sphere encompasses skills for traveling through the spirit plane of reality, dealing with entities found in them, and surviving such alien environments as the deep rumba and the dream domains. That's a really poor explanation. Sorry, book, but that's a really poor explanation. Ghosts in this game are real. The realm of the dead is real. It is a different dimension, kind of like the multiverse theory, where every single possible outcome has happened in another dimension, and they exist in the same space and time, but they exist in a way that is a different frequency or a different way that causes them not to be able to interact with each other. You can think of the spirit realm that way, where spirits exist. They exist in a reflection of the real world. It's the same place. It's the same place, just different. the whole multiversal thing is all I can come up with to try and explain that. The spirit realms are shadows of the real world. They are what the real world is becoming or what it was, but not exactly what it is at the moment. For example, if you were to travel to the spirit realm of at your house, and you enter the near umbra of your home. Wizard says that think of the umbra as the platonic realm and spirits are as idealized forms. Okay, I can see that. If you entered the near umbra, which is the spirit realm, the closest spirit realm to our reality, in your home, you would see perhaps your home as it was when it was new, or as it will be when it finally succumbs to entropy, or at some point in between. Or you may not see it at all. It all depends on the attitudes and feelings and forces that are interacting with your environment in the real world that is reflected as more true in the spirit world. For example, if your home, there was a mass suicide in your home before you bought it, you didn't know, like 10 people killed themselves in your basement, and you jumped into the near umbra of your basement, that event will stick. It will become a defining a defining characteristic of your home in the near umbra. It was a strong event. It will be reflected still in your surroundings now physically because you're actually there. Now, level 1 in spirit is a spirit sight or spirit sense. You can sense or see spirits and spirit energy around you. Again, just like most spheres, you start off with the ability to see and interact with the part of reality that the sphere encompasses. With level 2, you can actually talk to spirits, call them if you know their name, stuff like that. Level 3, travel. Level 4, fabricate spirit or control gauntlet. The gauntlet is the wall in between reality, our reality, and every other reality. The near umbra, the deep umbra, other realms, stuff like that. It's the barrier you have to cross to physically make the change from, say, our reality to the umbra, the spirit world. You can shift your entire body there once you have this level of control. And then 5 outward journeys, that is the deep umbra. That is going out into the deep umbra or nether regions, or finding other pocket realms of existence deep out in left field. So yeah, it is some real powerful stuff. Using fabricate spirit, or you can trap a spirit in an item to create a magical item or a totem. You can do that with this as well, but it's usually frowned upon because spirits are thinking creatures. So, you trap a spirit in a bottle for a couple of decades, it's going to get pissed off and go a little nuts. All right. So be wary when you do stuff like that. Time. This one's fun. Little hard for coincidental sometimes, but fun. Obviously, time, the aspect of reality that is time, that is the forward momentum of change. With time, you can sense. Obviously, with level 1, you can sense the passage of time perfectly. You know exactly what time it is. You know exactly how long something has happened that you witnessed to another event that you witnessed. All of that is known to you. You start to get to level 2, you can see what has transpired in your location in the past or in the future. Number of successes will determine how far in the past, how far in the future you can go with your sight. But you'll be able to momentarily see the past or see possible futures. But you have to be only in the area that you can physically see with using just this sphere. And with level 3, time contraction dilation, you can actually alter the flow of time make it go faster, make it go slower in a certain area, in a larger area. You can give yourself more actions. You can make other people have less actions because you can make time move them compared to you, make them move through time more slowly than you. Slowing them down, making the world seem like it's going so fast for them, when really they're just the ones that are slowed down. Or speeding yourself up, making yourself look faster. This can get vulgar really fast, obviously. The more successes you get, the faster or slower you can make time. There is a point where you cannot convince the storyteller that this is a coincidental effect, because technically you could use this to move like the Flash. You get enough successes, you can be the Flash. And that is obviously vulgar. So there will be a point of demarcation, which every storyteller was saying, okay, stop. This is the line. This is where you're moving too fast to where no one will believe that this is real. No one will believe anyone can move this fast. And that's your point right there. You've now hit vulgar magic. So you got to be careful with time. It's easy to abuse, especially traveling through time. You cannot travel to the past. Okay, the time sphere has a built-in safeguard. You cannot change the past. You can't travel to it. You can see it. You cannot interact with it. You can only travel in time one way, forward. We're doing it right now. We just did it again and again. See, we're all moving in the future together. But with 5 dots in time, you can instantly travel to any point in the future you want. You can skip. You can skip all the moments in between. You can also use time to program spells so they will go off on their own in response to a pre-prepared event. That is absolutely true. Time plus prime 2 plus matter 3, you can create air in a certain place at a certain time. It creates a programmed spell. The spell will go off at exactly 8:15 and 28 seconds. But anyone with time 1 or higher can see that program in the air, can see that time alteration, that spell waiting to go off, and maybe mess with it, counter it. I mean, that's what happens when you leave spells alone. Someone else might mess with them. All right, and that is all the spheres. Now, rotes. Rotes they're not spells. They are known effects of combining 2 or more spheres together to create something that neither sphere alone could do on its own. The examples I gave before, obviously, prime 2 and any of the forces, matter or life, creating from nothing. You need a rote. You need the conjunction of prime 2 and forces 3 to create fire. Prime 2 and matter 3 to create gold. Or is it 4? I don't know, I forget. To create a static pattern. But there are other things you can do. For example, let's look at something pretty simple. So far, we're not getting into simple. All these rotes are huge. Jesus Christ. Forces 5 prime 2. That's creating nuclear bombs. I don't need that. Holy crap. Let's look at correspondence rotes. Maybe, no, mind rotes. That should be easy. There we go. Sense the echo of the dragon. Mind 3, time 2. The number of successes on the magical effect roll determines both the detail of the prediction and the length of time it covers. The famous Do instructor, I'm gonna ruin that, taught his best students this technique. By relaxing prior to a fight and meditating on the style of an opponent, a student learned to predict the maneuvers of an opponent would make only seconds later. The number of successes in the magical roll determine both the detail of the prediction and the length of time it covers. The mage should realize that precognitive abilities are never certain, and the subject could choose different maneuvers from those the mage predicted. In personal combat, the mage can add dice equal to the successes gained on this magical effect to any dodge dice pool. So by combining Mind 3 and Time 2, you can momentarily look into the future, memorize what a person is going to do in the next couple of seconds to better be able to react to it. You can know what they're going to do next. You know what they're going to say next. Know what choice they're going to make. Now, the further out in the future you go, the less certain that is. But seconds into the future is all but certain. Their mind's already made up. They've already gotten all the stimulus they need to make the conclusion they're going to make. So your success is almost assured they're going to react the way that you think they're going to react. Serene Temple, Mind 1, Life 1. This is a very simple lesson that often marks the beginning of training, for the awakened. Through this route, the mage shows how you can change the speed at which your body operates. Some use of this effect are accelerate the liver and kidneys removal of toxins, speed the natural healing process, control bleeding when badly injured, and endure extremes of temperature. This is like mind over body stuff. I mean, all of this stuff is coincidental because people can do this. The magic accelerates or decelerates the body's functions by an extra factor for each success gained on the magic effect roll. For example, a player rolls 3 successes and has his character slow down her cardiovascular system by a factor of 4 so he can survive 4 times as long trapped in an airtight safe. People can do that. They can control their autonomic nervous system. This is completely coincidental. It's just much more effective using magic than a normal person could ever do in real life. But the effect is completely explainable and plausible. Those are the ones you want to hit. Those are the ones you want to go for. What else? Time routes. Peeping Tom. Time 2, Correspondence 3. Like any other annoyance that persists, the classic example of this is they're called now Peeping Tom. From safety of security of his own home, Tom had enjoyed not just watching what other mages did, but then pursuing the matter to see what his favorites did in the past. Word is a massive journal of notes documenting the lives of many people. The effect of this rote, just like postcognition, except the mage may see the past of any location no matter where he is currently. See, Time 2 allows you to see the future and the past. Correspondence of 3 allows you to see a different area, gives you the ability of clairvoyance and clairaudience. Put those together, and now you can see the past of an area that you are not physically located in. You can see the past of any area that you can move your senses to, which is, with Correspondence 3, virtually anywhere. So basically now you are an invisible drone. You're a spy drone that can track someone backward and forward through time. It's crazy. And you'd have a hard time. Sometimes you'd have a hard time saying that this is a coincidental effect. But if you explain it right, if you play the game right, you can explain it away as a coincidental effect. For example, you have a bank of monitors and you bring up the monitors, and on these monitors, everyone's reading these monitors, see pictures of other places. You have cameras everywhere, and you have a bank of hard drives, a bank of servers behind you. You use this magic to find someone through facial recognition, and then you use your surveillance data that you've gathered through your server to track this person backward in time, but you're not using magic. You're just using data collected through all of your cameras, following that person's face back through the recorded data. Coincidental. People will buy it. Well, how do you have all of this data? Like, this is just one server. I have cloud servers everywhere. I have petabytes of storage. This whole city is under my surveillance. Nothing goes on here I don't know about. I am Big Brother. People will believe that. People will buy that every time. But if you don't properly frame it, someone's not going to believe it. It's going to turn vulgar on you. And I believe that is it. Yes, that is it. That is all for the system of Mag. Now, if anyone has any questions, want me to go in depth on one sphere, I will. I can't go in depth on all 9, but one sphere I can go in depth on. I'll let someone in chat go ahead and shout it out when they want to. There's your full list right there. Correspondence, entropy, forces, life, matter, mind, prime, spirit, and time. And as a little Cliff Notes thing, correspondence, the magic of distance, entropy, the magic of change and decay, forces, the magic of all energy, matter, the magic of all physicality, mind, pretty simple, prime, the magic that is based on the building block of all things, quintessence, spirit, interacting with, traveling to the realm of the spirit, and time, the ebb and flow of time, control and sense of that. So if anyone wants, we can pick one of these and we will go in depth. We will look at the individual powers, and we'll try and make up stuff on the fly of what we can do using 2 dots, using 3 dots, using 1 dot, using 5 dots. You want to go for prime? Okay, we can do prime. That's fine.